And hello, movie lovers, and welcome to the show. Today, we are going to be reviewing The Madness. This is a Netflix original limited series that's starring Coleman Domingo. And I just want to say this: I enjoyed watching The Madness. I think it's a fantastic limited series to be able to watch. So, without further ado, let's go on ahead. Let's get on with the show. I'm excited to be able to review this, and let's do it. Let's do this, guys. Hey guys, and welcome to the show. So, like I mentioned before, I am going to be reviewing The Madness starring Coleman Domingo. I actually enjoyed this. This is a great little suspense 8 episode story. I really enjoyed it. And let me just point this out real quick, okay? So basically, The Madness actually begins with a man named Muncie, sorry. Waking up in the middle of a forest, he stumbles to the nearest diner and greets the police, where we see brief flashes of what seem to be transparent in the woods. All will be revealed in due time because it's an eight episode limited series. But within that, though, I really love the suspense of it. I love the fact that we get Muncie. He's this well put together pundit, this guest that's on CNN, and I just love the fact that he's in control of everything. It looks like he's in control of everything in his life and things like that. And I like the back and forth between the news anchors with CNN. And then it goes into him wanting to actually get a little bit of a break from the city life and him going out in the country a little bit. And that's where we actually get this whole entire thing happening. I just love the charisma that he has whenever you see him on the CNN network. And, and he holds his own against the most toughest questions when he's on the CNN network as well. And, after all this happens, he winds up deciding, you know what, I think I want to go out in the woods, get away from the city life a little bit. And then Muncie winds up planning a way to actually just enjoy a little bit of basically just enjoying his time off. And there's no cell phone service out in this area, right? So Muncie heads over to the neighbor's place to try and get a lowdown on what's happening with electricity, because his electricity goes off right in the middle of him trying to write something on the computer. So he goes over to the neighbor's house. The neighbor, he winds up finding on the floor. He's getting cut into pieces and things like that. And there's this little mystery element to it. And then he's getting chased through the wilderness, through this whole entire thing. And then, it's all about him trying to figure out how is he going to clear his name? Why is he getting pinned for this? Why are these people after him? And as this show unravels, as a matter of fact, I actually binge watched the first 3 episodes, even though I'm only focusing on one episode right now. But, as this show unveils and reveals things and things like that, I have to say, I really love the direction it's going in. I definitely felt the whole entire deal of Muncie being on the run, not knowing what to do, and him getting mixed up in all of this. And like I mentioned, his neighbor winds up getting chopped up into bits and stuff like that because they're trying to dispose of the body. Then Muncie winds up running out, and then you have these other two guys that are trying to kill him as basically just trying to kill him. And then he winds up stabbing one of them with a pin, and he runs out of the woods. And just the overall action of it and the suspense of it and the slow build of this show is just fantastic. It's fantastically well executed. You actually care about Muncie. You care about the characters involved in the show to the point where you're wondering what's going to happen next. How is he going to get out of this whole entire deal? And then you also have, okay, so this is another thing that I really liked about this is the fact that you have Muncie's wife who's actually trying to help him, and she's played by Marsha Stephanie Blake, who plays Elena Powell. And I love the back and forth between her and Coleman. I think they actually show that dominance when it comes down to power couple. This is actually a power couple to me. Even though they actually show a little bit of Muncie's vulnerable side because of the fact that they are going through a difficult time within their marriage on the show and stuff like that. But you can definitely tell that these two people care about each other and stuff like that too. And then you also have Thetis J. Mixon, who plays the son. His name is Demetrius. And a matter of fact, I actually got a chance to watch him on another show as well on Hulu, and it's called Beyond Reasonable Doubt. And I definitely like him this kid, I'm gonna tell you this. I think that he's gonna be a rising star someday. I'm serious. This young man is a fantastic actor. I really love him as an actor. But yeah, as far as Muncie goes and stuff like that, he's wondering what he can do to get himself out of this. And so he winds up finding out that this other reporter actually believes him, right? So, what can go wrong? Somebody actually believes you. So they set up this little appointment. Of course, something winds up happening to that character. I'm not going to go into spoilers. And now he has to try to find another way to actually prove his innocence. But I like the fact that he's doing the research for this on this character. And he's like, she's crazy. There's no way I'm going to get her involved. She's a YouTuber. She looks like she's one of those conspiracy theorists and stuff like that. In my mind, though, is this, okay? And this is before the wife even says anything. Before Muncie's wife even says this, she's like, you do know that you're just as crazy as she is. Therefore, you need someone that believes in you, that believes that you're innocent. So therefore he winds up trying to set up this appointment, and then something winds up happening to that character. So I like that element of it. I also liked the fact that you don't know what's going to happen next. Like something winds up getting planted inside Muncie's car. Muncie winds up holding the item in his hand, and I like how there's a metaphor on this episode where the lawyers are basically saying you just have your dick in your hand. And at that point, and Coleman's character, Muncie's like, what are you talking about? I don't have my dick in my hands. Everything is fine. And then you wind up seeing the item in his car and he's just holding it. I'm like, that's basically what he has. He has his dick in his hand, which happens to be this thing that's going to end up framing him for something that he didn't do. And so you're on this journey with him, and the stuff that he gets into is just fantastic. I mean it. I just couldn't. I cannot praise this TV series enough. Um, there's also another couple of moments that I liked is the fact that the policemen. Here's the thing. They go back over to the place that Muncie's at the cabin and things like that. And my first initial thought was, there's no way that they're gonna believe him. Number one, he's someone of color. These are two white men that happen to be showing up, and he's also in the country. There's no way that they're gonna end up trying to prove that he's even innocent or anything like that either. And I like how Muncie even brings that up too, is the fact that he's the only man of color out there, and there's no way that he can be proven innocent. So as you're actually watching this, they're actually mentioning things that you're thinking and feeling. And I definitely like that whole entire idea of them using our subconsciousness to actually present something to us as a viewer watching this show. And and then you also has a lot of other things within the show that actually works, like when the town, like unfortunately when Muncie's case any favors and would appear, the news is tightening around his neck, reporting a murder and all these suspicious incidents without a body or a name doesn't exactly look good for him. He's encouraged to do what he can do, and more importantly, put a name to the face. So he's over there trying to decide, basically just putting a name to the face of this neighbor that got murdered. He only met the guy for like 5 minutes, and that was it. He doesn't know too much about him or anything like that, other than the fact that he's his next door neighbor. He doesn't know anything about his background or anything. And as you go into this story, you find out that he's actually a white supremacist. He's also got many people working for him as well. He's in this tangled web, once he is, and you're just on this giant roller coaster ride the whole entire thing. This actually feels like a Dean Koontz kind of novel brought to life in the way of a modern day film is or modern day TV show. And I really dig it. I dig this a lot. And you're basically using Muncie as a character who's trying to discover things, and he's also just a normal person who's a news pundit, and he's not a detective or anything, and he's having to try and piece things together and try to solve things on his own because he can't trust anybody. So it seems like the world is just against him at this point. So therefore, he has to try and do his own investigating. As a matter of fact, he actually goes to the ex-wife, and the ex-wife is wondering who the hell Muncie is and stuff like that too. And she winds up saying, "Look, I only knew your husband for a brief moment, but I need your help to help me. Will you help me?" And she's like, "Look, I don't know you. You need to go." But He also lied about who he was. He also lied about what's going on and stuff like that too. But what would you do if you were in that situation and no one believes you? That's the thing. So I definitely love the mystery element of it, and also the suspense, like I mentioned. And then he also winds up going over to um, the white supremacist organization as well, which is really neat when you see this later on as well. But like I said, this is only focusing on episode one. But within this one episode, it sets up a lot of stuff that I think you guys are going to definitely enjoy. I definitely enjoyed watching the first episode, and I'm a huge Coleman Domingo fan. I loved him ever since I got a chance to interview him for his short film called New Moon, and that's actually on the channel as well. I got to even the interviews on the channel as well. But even Sing Sing is a great movie, and then you also have the Michael Jackson biopic that he's in that's coming out next year. You also have some other stuff he's working on, but still, Coleman is just basically turned into a fantastic. He's just a fantastic. There's no way of putting it. But Laura Jennings is actually the name of the girl that wants to set up the appointment with Muncie and to try and prove his innocence. And unfortunately, things are made even worse because something winds up happening to that character. And then after that, um, I have to say this: the first episode gets things off in an intriguing start with plenty of mystery and look into Muncie's madness that proceed by everyone else around him. It would appear that murder Mark Strong is racially motivated and as a white supremacist. It makes sense why he would be disliked individually. However, it doesn't explain the two men out in the woods or why nobody has found the body or the pin in the woods. But if I was to get rid of a body, if I didn't want to see this body and want to pin it on somebody else, I would want to remove that body and try to get rid of things so that way it looks like nothing even happened. It makes him look like he's crazy. And that's what his wife is also saying too. Look, you're already looking like that you're crazy. You need to trust someone else that you think that is also is just as crazy as you are at this moment because no one believes you. So you have that happening, and then Muncie is also is like interesting basically just an interesting character. And there appears to be a vendetta against him to be pinned for this murder, but why to what end? I'm sure you guys will actually get more of that once you go into the TV series itself. But still, great start to this first part of episode one. If you guys want me to review more for episode three and so forth, tell me in the comments because seriously, I'm gonna actually binge watch the rest of this because I really enjoy this. But what are your thoughts if you haven't seen it or anything like that either? Or if you're interested in the show? That's something else I want to know as well. But yeah, that's gonna be it as far as this review goes. I know this is kind of shorter than normal, but I didn't want to give too much away since this is a brand new TV series, and I wanted you guys to watch it for yourselves and just tell you, hey, look, watch this show. It's fantastic. It's a great suspense show. It's a jaw dropping thriller mystery element of the show. Political. I would even put it as far as like a political thriller at this point, too. But yeah, I definitely think that you guys should check it out. And that's going to be it as far as this goes. I hope that everybody enjoyed this review. So, always until next time, guys, have a great and safe day. And we'll catch you guys on the